Welcome to another half hour of the best from football's video archives. This week, Channon and Alan Ball spotlight some of the most exciting players in the game, those skillful wingers.
To Case, and Dalglish a back header. Can Bond get this? He's up against Highway, beats him, and a dangerous cross is in. And it's straight in the back of the net from Steve Highway.
Whittle. Rogers, and he's onside, Don Rogers. Kicks it one side now. That's there. That's number 3.
Well, at the moment, it's United coming forward. Through Jimmy Greenough. Macari outside him, inside him in a good position. Koppel.
Alan, everyone likes to see exciting wing play. Is it fair to say that those are the players that the public like to go and watch and pull the crowds in?
Well, I feel a little bit sorry for wingers, to be quite honest, because everybody said, oh, he's a winger, and they expect little frightened, you know, the picture they conjure up with little frightened people who on the day, you know, tear their backsides out of full backs. But I don't think there's anything nicer to watch than a winger on his day, running at full backs, beating them inside, outside, and then, you know, getting good quality crosses in round about the byline. I think from being a lad all the way through to now, there's no finer sight than a winger on his day.
There aren't as many about now. I mean, we were probably lucky that when we started there was plenty around. I mean, when I started at Southampton, I played with 2, John Sydenham and Terry Payne, and they were both completely different. You know, Payne was a jinker type, you know, where John Sydenham was a flyer, you know. But the end result was exactly the same, you know, was a good service into the box for people to score goals, and I think that that's what excites people, isn't it? Whether someone goes up and jinks past one, beats another one, gets to the byline, chips it back to the far post, or whether someone streaks down the line and whacks one across 100 mile an hour and someone gets on the end of them. It's all exciting. It's what the game's about. If you don't get enough balls into the box, you're not going to score goals.
And so to a winger who first hit the headlines with Swindon in the League Cup final back in 1969. It's Don Rogers, and didn't Arsenal get a shock?
And now Rogers bringing it out of defence for Swindon. Lovely play. And there to take the return. Good play by Rogers. Oh, a terrible mix-up. Noble. Simpson. Smart. And goal! What a terrible mistake by Arsenal. Graham, now Gould off in support. Can Gould get to it now? It's a goal by Gould! And my goodness, is he not pleased with life? Bobby Gould! And it's a brave man who'd put his money on a winner of this game. It's still so very even and so very, very close. Very nearly through. Rogers! A goal by Rogers! You're now for Arsenal. And smart away for Swindon. Rogers is streaking ahead and he's onside. Beautiful play! That is that!
I remember him when he played in the great Swindon youth team. And that's when I first saw Don Rogers, when there was Summerby, Woodruff, Hunt, and Don Rogers. You know, I mean, that was the when they beat Man United in the Youth Cup. I always remember those days. But he was an out-and-out left winger then. Well, what we've just seen in the Don Rogers in the Cup final, I mean, for me, he was drifting off the line then and becoming more of a striker. And several players have done that sort of later on in their career. They start as an orthodox winger, and then they just drift in and they become goal-scoring wingers because the game's probably dictated that way a little bit.
Was Don Rogers a good winger in your book, Alan?
I thought he was a very good player, Don. As Mick says, he started to come inside a lot, and he was a very, very good runner with the ball, and he could beat people, and he was beating people in field far more, and he was playing more for himself, doing things for himself rather than as an out-and-out winger, going and creating things for other people. His ability that he had was, I think, that on the run with the ball, he was ever so deceptive and he beat people with ease. But rather than create an awful lot for other people.
From Swindon, Don Rogers moved on to Crystal Palace, and one of his best performances came against Manchester United.
Mulligan. Don Rogers. Oh, nicely inside the full-back for Mulligan. Here's a chance and a goal! Scored by Mulligan, but made beautifully by Don Rogers. Mulligan's goal, and his first for Crystal Palace. And he was sneaking in there, but it was the pass by Rogers that made it. And it's with Ian Moore. Straight into the path of Rogers. Now here's the chance again to make another one. Just across that goal, Stepney getting a despairing hand to it. Brian Kidd. Wyn Davis. And good play there by Bobby Bell. Now the chase is on. Rogers going faster than any of them. Still with Rogers. All played inside for Mulligan. And another goal! Paddy Mulligan's second. Made for him by Don Rogers, just as the first one was. And Paddy Mulligan, the skipper and the fullback, turns a striker twice to such very good effect. The ball from Rogers, and Mulligan, a fairly simple task. Whittle. Rogers, and he's onside, Don Rogers. Kicks it one side now. That's there. That's number 3. Tremendous presence of mind by Don Rogers. Made for him by Alan Whittle. But Rogers, in a way, doing a Pele. Turning it one side of Stepney, running the other, and then finding the net to put Crystal Palace 3-0 ahead. Whittle coming in, and now Rogers away again. Well, he got him going one way, got him going the other, just over. And instead it's Rogers now. Oh, here's a chance for the break. Rogers going the length of the field, and still going on. And he's got the pace to get beyond Buchan, and the shot. Tremendous run again by Rogers. Hughes up. And Whittle goes on. Hughes. Whittle. Well, that's incredible. Yes! Alan Whittle! Alan Whittle! His first game and his first goal. Blythe coming in for Palace. And this has been their greatest afternoon. And there's Rogers. Will this be 5? It's going to be 5. It is 5. Don Rogers, his second. Crystal Palace, his 5th. And that is utter and total confusion and demoralisation for Alex Stepney. The look that tells everything for Alex Stepney and for Manchester United. 5-0.
Yes, he had fantastic ability, and I don't think there's a better performance given that we've seen for a lot, you know, and all the clips we've seen than that, the performance against Palace. I think it's just unfortunate for Don. I mean, he was a country boy, a Wiltshire lad at Swindon, and he came through the ranks there, and he played some fantastic football from there. And I think if a top London club, without degrading Palace at all, Arsenal or Tottenham or say Manchester United, Liverpool would come for him, I think you'd have seen probably one of the best, not out-and-out flanker, but one of the best forward players.
But talking to Don, he went there because Bert Head took him there. And
Yeah.
Bert Head was the manager at Swindon.
Oh,
So, I mean,
the
what I'm trying to say is
connection.
it was comfortable. Don was a smashing lad. great ability, natural ability, but I just didn't feel he wanted to be the greatest. Do you know what I mean? He didn't want to. I mean, yeah, love to. You almost see him saying, "Yeah, I'll come up there and play with you." You know.
No burning ambition, really.
That's right. To be,
Right.
you know, I just feel he lacked that little bit of killer instinct.
Well, we'll take a break now. Coming up in just a moment, Steve Highway.
My sister's a greaser. It makes her prone to spot. Her cosmetic cleanser just isn't enough. But Clearasil cleanses pore to remove twice as much grease and helps prevent spots. Now she uses it every day, and it's really made a difference. Maybe it's gone too far.
Spot the difference with Clearasil.
Up in the valley, the green giant keeps a very close eye on our crops, so that we pick our sweet corn at the exact moment it reaches perfection. Even if that's in the middle of the night. It's then frozen without delay, which is why our frozen sweet corn is as sweet and tender as the day or night it was harvested. Green Giant!
Well, let's move on now to a winger who enjoyed great success with Liverpool, Steve Highway. It's 1978 and Liverpool are on their way to yet another league title.
Hansen in there strongly. Dalglish, a quick check to see whether he can control. He can. It's Johnson trying to return it to Case. And Dalglish, a back header. Can Bond get this? He's up against Highway, beats him, and a dangerous cross is in. And it's straight in the back of the net from Steve Highway. 6 minutes gone. A stunning goal there for Liverpool. Well, the ball played in from the right. Dalglish's header goes out on the left-hand side to Steve Highway. He turns Kevin Bond inside out a couple of times and then fires one across the face of the goal. That could have been meant for the far post, it could have been meant for a shot, but in it went, off the far post, and a marvellous start for Liverpool. John Ryan gets it away. Hansen with Rob putting him under a bit of pressure. Thompson and Nibola for Ray Clements. To Phil Neal. Keep possession, let Norwich do the running on a hot day. Dalglish and Hoadley. Dalglish getting the better of him. Dalglish still there. It's a great shot. Now Highway. And it's in. Another one for Liverpool, another one for Steve Highway. A brilliant bit of play. And that stemmed, in fact, from the ability of Kenny Dalglish to turn under pressure in the penalty area. As that ball came to him, he's got Hoadley with him, but he wriggles free of him. He puts a shot in, and it beats the goalkeeper. Unlucky that it hits the post, and here comes Steve Highway, the side footer, and Keelan can't get it. It's 2-0. Bad kick by Kennedy, or by Clements. Souness does well to get it out to Case. Neil going by him. Dalglish, there goes Case. Checked his stride beautifully. Here goes Alan Kennedy forward. He's dangerous. And Johnson with a chance to make it 3. There it is. Suddenly they were wide open again, and Liverpool punished them so severely. David Johnson making it 3-0 for Liverpool with 36 minutes only of this first half gone. And here's Thompson and Dalglish trying to get a return. Hoadley battling hard. He didn't let many people get away. The flag has gone up for a foul. That was right on the line. Hoadley complaining that he was having his shirt pulled. Well, a free kick right on the edge of the area. 5 in the wall. Here goes Case. It's in. and the wall look quizzically at one another. He hit a shoulder and went in. It's 4-0, and Case gets his 4th of the season. Well, have a look at that wall as Case goes to take this shot. And really, Martin Peters on the left-hand side wasn't tight on the other 4, and the shot hits a shoulder, and Keelan has no chance whatsoever as that goes like a thunderbolt into the back of the net, 4-0. And forward goes Robson. He looked miles offside, but the linesman didn't flag. Robson, down he goes. It's a penalty. And the linesman comes towards a couple of Liverpool players who complain that really Robson should have been flagged offside before he went down into that corner. But there's no doubt about it, when the challenge did come in, that it was a foul one, and it's a penalty, and it's a chance for Ray Clements to be tested by John Ryan, who's already got 2 goals from the penalty spot this season and 7 goals overall, and salvage a little bit of pride for Norwich City, trailing by 4 goals to nil. Confidently put into the net, and how badly they could have needed that one after the devastating start by Highway in the first half. But it doesn't mean a lot as far as the scoreline is concerned. It means a lot to Ryan, of course. It's his 8th goal. It's 4-1 to Liverpool, and we've about 12 minutes left.
Yeah, this lad, for me, was a really, really good player. He came onto the scene late in life. He did what all young boys should do the schooling first, studying first. He came onto the scene. I remember him coming on the scene for Liverpool. And he was another one, gangly, didn't look a player. His feet looked too big for his body, thin legs, and then he just came alive when the ball came to him. Now, he could run at people, he could chop and change, he could score goals, but most of all, he had pace to go by, and he made an awful lot of goals. And he came to Liverpool, and I think, I love Thompson when they had him at Liverpool, and I love Callaghan when they had him at Liverpool. I think this lad ranks with them, and I thought he was a really, really good winger.
He had blistering pace as well. You know, he was in tight situations. He was very good. He could, you know, if it got tight in the last, you know, going the 18-yard box to the byline, he could jink by someone. But if he had to go from the halfway line, he could knock it by, and he could do both. You know, whereas players can usually do one or the other. Their jinkers can get a yard past someone and knock a ball in, or you can get people that can take people on from a distance. But he could do both, Highway. Plus, as Alan said, he could score goals.
Gordon Hill and Steve Coppell were also wingers who could score goals. We see them both in action now for Manchester United against Manchester City.
Nicol, Brian Greenough moving forward. The nod back to him from Macari. McElroy, could be a shooting opening here. Here's Pearson! He's off Donachie's head, and now Watson's foot. Macari, Coppell. Pushed forward by Nicol, to come back to Coppell. Jimmy Greenough, Nicol, scooped across. McElroy's header didn't really take. Macari works it out to Hill. Macari stayed for the return and flicked it up. It's gone through to Hill for a shot. 2-0. Well, little Lou Macari's bustling had a lot to do with that one. He kept in there fighting, and when it got out to Hill, Hill kept at it until eventually he rifled the second goal past Joe Corrigan. Nicol. Donachie, power beaten to it by Coppell, and Jimmy Greenough! Brilliant save! Coppell got Jimmy Greenough through, the shot was good, and the save was brilliant. Joe Corrigan tipping over from point-blank range.
Well, I think, Gerald, I think if City are going to get back in the game, they've got to push more people up. I think Stewart is playing, he seems to be playing in no man's land, neither up nor back. And to get back in the game, they've got to push forward.
Well, at the moment, it's United coming forward. Through Jimmy Greenough. Macari outside him, inside him in a good position, Koppel! That was a little classic. Jimmy Greenough on the ball. The run outside by Macari made the space inside for Koppel, and Stevie Koppel took it gloriously. A couple of strides and bingo. Nicol, Jimmy Greenough, Koppel. Was Kidd's tackle. Doyle tripped by McElroy, who I think accidentally clipped his heels. Referee gives the foul. Certainly it cost Doyle the chance of breaking away. Watson. It's come through to Stepney, and there was a bit of a misunderstanding, and in goes Stewart.
How did you rate Gordon Hill and Steve Coppell for Manchester United?
Well, totally opposite in the way they played. One was Hill was unpredictable. On his day, the things he could do with that left foot of his were unbelievable, right. Especially volleying balls. The difficult skills that people find hard to master, he did with ease. He used to volley ball, they used to come out the sky, and instead of just controlling him, and he just woof, he'd hit 125, 30 yards, and he'd pick people out. He was pacey, he liked running at people, and he used to clip balls and chip balls, and I thought he was a good player. I thought he should have been better than what he was. Now, the other lad, Koppel, was just sheer power, explosive stuff. Get the ball to his feet, he'd try to rock a defender, and poof, he'd go. Then he was a good crosser of the ball. He was what I call a team winger, that would work back, look after his fullback. When he got it, his power, he'd run at people. He didn't have a trick, really have a trick. He'd just, woof, he'd just go, sheer power.
It was a manager's dream,
yeah.
Koppel. Manager's dream. He would do his job. You know, he wouldn't take any chances. He wouldn't let the fullback get away. And yet every now and then he would go by someone, and he was very precise in everything he done. He would knock a ball in the same way. I mean, if he got to the byline, he would always knock it back far post. If he got just enough on a fella, he would whip it across. Peter Houseman at Chelsea was another type of player. Left winger he was, though he was the opposite side, but he would always fill in a hole, fill in a gap. You could hear managers now raving about him. Yeah, he was a great player.
Gray. Let's end with perhaps the best goal ever scored by a winger. It's Eddie Gray for Leeds against Burnley.
And here's Gray, and a cool save by Miller. Had to have 2 attempts at that. Gray still up there. Eddie Gray. Oh, good footwork by Gray, still going. Oh, what a lovely goal, what a masterly goal by Eddie Gray. A superb bit of football.
In a tight situation where he dragged it back with the sole of his foot, round someone, nicked in, went to hit it, and you can see your forwards diving in there for bits and pieces going across, and then he's got feinted, gone round someone, and eventually he's whacked it in.
Well, you got a couple similar, didn't you?
Oh, I got plenty of them, boy. Used to get them every week.